Don't talk. I don't want you to interrupt yourself.
You don't want what?
Interrupt yourself.
Oh, okay.
Rhett Palmer, the mayor of the airwaves, is ready to go. Talking to people you want to know. Face to face, one on one. Get the story and have some fun with Rhett Palmer.
And now, the most trusted name in radio, Rhett Palmer, the mayor of the airwaves.
Yes, and those are the golden vocals of Mr. David Walsh, who sits in the studio today. How are you, Mr. David Walsh?
Very good, sir. And how are you?
I'm okay. I'm okay. You know, I probably have one of the oldest talk show host guests or co-hosts in the world. I should become world renowned because of that. You're 97. You read 2 or 3 books every week. You still run your real estate firm and go in every day. And then you put on a crisp white shirt and a, what do you call that jacket, that kind of jacket?
This is camel hair.
Camel hair. Yeah, I didn't want anything for Christmas this year. I think I'd like a camel hair jacket. Popular up north where you come from, 30, how many years have you been here now? 30 years in Florida?
Almost.
And to your luck, we became friends 28, 29 years ago.
How fortunate for me.
How fortunate for you. So, anyway, so apparently there was it wasn't really a debate. They had this fella on some, I don't know, they're having the caucus out there, right? And they had this fella on, they had Nikki Haley. And Nikki Haley, I like Nikki Haley, but she said, but this country can't endure 4 more years of the, should use another word, the chaos that Trump would bring to the country. First of all, my first reaction is, you shouldn't say that. You're using that as a fear tactic, although I like her. I'm not saying I don't like her. But so I calmed down when I figured out she's using it to, it's a fear tactic. That's how you sell, This is the last red Mustang we have. 1961. If you don't buy it now, we may never get another one in. You know that. You're right. Fear of loss is the number one manipulator in the car business. You own car dealerships. Am I right?
I don't know, but I never heard that one.
Yes, you did. Never heard that one?
No.
But it's the greatest. All of us go to car dealers and say, we're not going to, hey, Ethel, I'm not going to buy anything today. I just want to look. What do you want, Mr. Smith? Well, I would like to have a red pickup truck. Well, we have last year's model right here, red, sitting right there. It's our last one. And now, because it's last year's, it's $5,000 off the price. But it's going to go to the first taker. You want to put something down on it today? Well, I wasn't going to buy. I told Mildred I wasn't going to buy today. Yeah, I'll go home with a new truck. Why not? And there's fear of loss manipulation. Same thing with insurance. Fear. They sell with fear. And I can see Noah is saying something. FOMO, fear of missing out. There you go. Fear of missing out.
May I ask you how the meeting went about artificial intelligence?
Oh, Toddy was there.
Really?
Yeah. She was there. And I thought if he had listened to me, he would have been here. He could have seen his friend Toddy. She was sitting there. At first, I didn't recognize her. I knew that I knew her. And I thought she was somebody that I know from up at JI. And I wondered if she wasn't with, who I thought she wasn't with her husband. I thought, maybe her husband passed away. And then I realized, it's not that woman. That's Toddy.
So did you talk to her?
No. By the time I noticed her, that it was her, he was already introducing me to the crowd and then went on to speak.
So tell me about the meeting.
The meeting was okay. It's I liked it better when he had me into his office a week ago and put AI, artificial intelligence, this guy on the screen. It's $20 a month. You wouldn't believe. Say, well, I'd like to open up a grocery store. What am I going to have to go through? Well, you're going to need to do this, and you're going to need to do that, and here's a list of this and that, and blah, blah, blah. You might consider this. How much finances do you have? And blah, blah. How many finances do you have, Rhett? Well, thank you for inviting me to your meeting. And then we said, okay, what about Napoleon? Give me a concise history of Napoleon, and he proceeded to give me a concise. And then the fella, Ergen, who owns computer, what is it called? ACT Computers. He says, can you do a painting of Napoleon? 11 seconds later, the most beautiful rendition. And the guy says, and he's up on his horse on two legs to show the action of it. And Napoleon's looking right at the person doing the portraiture. And it's absolutely beautiful. It's as good as anything Michelangelo did.
Wow.
Yeah.
Big statement.
Yeah, it was really fabulous. And then the next week, we'll come back next week. Gone forever. But now they're having issues with copyrights because I guess it's the New York Times is suing somebody because the training that's going on includes some information that they absconded from the New York Times. So intellectual copyright. So I suggest people like me, we need to patent everything we possibly can with Washington at this point because you could become very wealthy off of AI because these companies will have to compensate you, How to Be a Better Talk Host by Rhett Palmer. They grab that online and say, well, how do I be a better talk host? Well, A, B, C, D. Wait a second, that's my lineup right there that I wrote. Send Horace, my attorney, after them. I want $5 million. Be happy to settle for one.
What a champ you are.
Yeah. Well, it's a liturgical. Not liturgical. It's copyright, not patent. Patent is specifically for a physical invention. Yes. So intellectual copyright is copyright.
Uh-huh.
And do you know how to do that, Noah? Okay. Well, yeah, as a paralegal, you kind of need to learn that. So I tell you, I'll make you a deal.
It's a later course.
It's who what?
It's a later course.
A later course.
I haven't taken it yet.
Yeah, but I never had a course, and I used to be able to submit my own copyrights. It used to be I had to pay a lady to take in case you don't know, folks, I wrote a song like for the Hallmark Channel for a movie. I did jingles on radio and TV. I did the American Red Cross. It's probably my most famous piece. Coming home for the holidays for the American Red Cross. Anyway, I've done a bunch of stuff like that. So the point is that about these copyrights. So I used to submit my copyrights, but back when I was 16, which was 54 years ago. No, that's 12. 50. If I'm 70 and I was doing it at 16, what's 16 from 70? 54. 54. Is it 54? No. Yes, it is. It's 54. Okay. So 54 years ago, and I would pay this young lady to write up all the little notes for a song. It cost $10 to the registrar of copyrights. And then it went to being a cassettes. You could put 10 songs on a cassette, like an 8-track, but a cassette, a little version of the 8-track. They went the way of the dinosaur, and then they had CDs. Now they've gone the way of the dinosaur, and I think Noah, you submit an MP3. Could you find out though? Do some research, right? And then what I'll do, if you don't mind, I will. Pardon me.
Are you asking?
The copyright, the process for copywriting. Find out what it is, if you would, and then I can pay you to find out. Like if we need an MP3 of my songs. Then you and I can go over the list. You can send them down, and you will be compensated.
I can't do that because I haven't passed the bar.
Yes, you can. Anybody can send stuff in to the registrar of copyright. Yeah, promise. Yes, I did it when I was 16 years of age. You're not listening in there. Hey, did you see what that kid did? Made history last night with the game on the internet. It was phenomenal. It's these things, these little squares that fall down into place, whatever they do, and no one in like 25, 30 years has ever won. And this little kid, he's like 8 years of age, He's at his computer. He happened to have a camera. I don't know why I had the camera. Maybe, I don't know. Is that what everybody does these days? But anyway, they mentioned he just went crazy. He won. And matter of fact, the CEO of the company says, we didn't think it could happen, that anybody could actually win beat the system completely. Huh?
Tetris.
Yes. Did you see that on the news? No? Check it out, Tetris.
What are you talking about?
I have no idea what I'm talking about. It made the news list. It's called Tetris. You know the kids play the games? Okay. So there's a movie you should see. It's on Netflix now. What's the Netflix movie on the guy who learned how to drive a race car on the internet? And they put out he went to Le Mans and won.
We're asking the wrong person for anything Netflix related.
Okay. So Le Mans, you know what that is, right?
Yeah.
I actually stood on that track. Do you know that?
Pardon me?
I stood on that very track in Cannes. I stood on Le Mans.
What a remarkable achievement.
And you know, my next door neighbor here used to be a race car driver from England,
Really?
whose name I can't remember right now, but he moved to the beach. And nice guy. The Brits tend to be nice, you know. But
Ben says there's the Brits and then there's the rest of us.
what kind of car does Ben have?
He has 2 cars. He has a Porsche and he has what do they call them? Smart car.
A smart car? You mean all electric?
No, it's like a shoe. You know,
What do
it's the shape of a shoe.
What's a smart car? I never heard of one.
Well,
I've heard of a smartphone.
they exist.
Noah, what's a smart car?
Heck if I know.
Heck if he knows. Hey Siri, what's a smart car? Oh, yes. The Mercedes-Benz. Yes, I know smart car. I saw those when I was in... They didn't do well in the States. No, stop reading, please.
He does. He gets 45 miles to the gallon.
Yeah, and you know what that thing is? It's a tin can. It's as thin as a beer can or a soda pop can. You get hit in that thing, you're history. The thing is over in like England, or not England, in Roma, what you do is you'll see 2 cars, and if they're not tight, people back their smart cars in between the 2 cars.
Yeah.
It's they're very popular.
The gas tank is 4 gallons.
Yeah, well, they get 44 miles to a gallon,
Yeah.
right? But he must. Well, that's why, because he worked for a Mercedes dealership. He probably got a deal on it.
I would doubt it.
Yeah. So now you forgot your newspaper today.
No, I didn't forget. I purposely did not.
Would you please bring it?
You look. You don't even
Some
look at it.
days we do, and some days we don't. But usually I hold it up to the camera to show what's going on in the world. What was on the cover today?
Hunter.
Oh no, Hunter Biden again.
Yeah.
His paintings are going to go up in value if they keep at it. You do realize now, they're not worth $500,000 that he's getting for them. I mean, I get letters that all the time. If Hunters sell for $500,000, you should be getting $1 million, Rhett. But because of what's going on and the notoriety, and by the way, notoriety is a pejorative term, right? That's not positive. It's like infamy. Being infamous is not a good thing.
It's just notoriety.
Anyway, his paintings will, after he's dead and gone, probably be of value because of the trail behind them, right?
I think they're going to he wants to make a movie.
Yeah, it'll be made after he dies. You know what I've been getting
He can make a movie and make a fortune.
Why?
Because people want to see all the nitty-gritty stuff that went on with him. And he'll put himself in a favorable light, naturally.
That's not a bad idea. But you can't make a movie for $5 million.
You get people involved. You know.
Well, purportedly,
Sometimes you look at a movie today. This movie is presented to you by XYZ, by ABC.
I understand, but the far right is suggesting that Hunter Biden made $1 billion off of China, and that's a bunch of bunky. You know, people lose their credibility when they exaggerate. You know?
Do you think he made any money?
I think he probably made some money. And with Ukraine as well. Very much so. Do you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Do you believe Biden won the last election?
No.
You don't. Isn't that a terrifying? Do you believe the the lady running for the Arizona governorship who
No.
lost? You think she lost?
No.
Me either. So they have found a way. They will destroy America if they continue this.
They can, yeah.
I had economists in here when Bill Clinton was the president, and they said it's very dangerous because this country works best when it teeter-totters back and forth, conservative, liberal. Now the extreme liberals are just as dangerous as skinheads, and they've taken over. And, you know, people like Bill Clinton should step in. And by the way, Bill, that would take the focus off of you with going to this island with these women. What do you think of that? If right now, you know, just like I said, I know how Biden can win the election legitimately this time. You want to come off as a winner?
How?
I should charge him though. If I put this over the air and somebody takes it, I take it to him, he might do it, and then I don't see anything.
Oh.
I tell you what, if he uses it and you're a liberal or you're a Democrat, then you have to promise me that I get invited to the White House to sing God Bless America. How's that? Okay, so this is what Biden does. See, this is why you have people of intellect, and then you need people with emotional IQ. You weren't with me the time I was with Mitt Romney. There was a guy in the crowd. He's trying to talk people into he's running for the presidency. Turns out he's a rhino. But anyway, so this guy says, I don't have any of my real teeth. They got knocked out over in Afghanistan. He's a billionaire. You know what he should have said at that moment to that crowd? He should have said, we're going to get it taken care of. We're going to go to the VA, whoever we have to go through, and if they don't do it, I'll buy you the set of teeth. Boom! The place would have gone crazy with applause. The cameramen, the newsmen, NBC, MSNBC, even CNN, everybody, Fox, they would have gone crazy. Mitt Romney says he's going to buy this guy teeth. He's got a heart. If Trump did not win the last election, it's not because Biden won it. It's because Trump lost it. Because people don't care how much you know till they know how much you care. Those of us who can see beyond this, we see the intellect, the capabilities of him being a good president. But he's not real sharp with his mouth. Or he is, maybe we should say he is sharp with his mouth, right?
He's sharp with his mouth, but he is tuned to the public. I don't know why you would say he's not.
But okay, for instance, General Colin Powell. If Donald becomes my best friend ever, I'm going to say, look, I interviewed General Colin Powell. Why would you attack his character the day after his death, even prior to his funeral? You don't talk about the dead. Just like these very evil people that want to bring down the image of Martin Luther King Jr. Let me tell you something. I had his photographer on my show. I flew to Africa with Coretta Scott King to Zimbabwe for the 10th anniversary. I do not believe, the guy in the media said, we all talked. If Martin Luther King was having an affair, we would have known about it. We would have all talked about it. How dare they cast aspersions upon the character of a man who did so much good and was brilliant?
Well, they made a national holiday out of it.
But there are people that want to bring down his image.
There are always
evildoers.
There are always people like that. You can be a saint and then try to knock you down. So what do you think about Ron DeSantis?
Ron DeSantis on the cover of Time magazine. Do you know who's on this week? Oh, I brought it home. You're a Swiftie, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Taylor's on there.
Yeah. Did you read it?
No.
You want to read mine?
No.
Oh, okay. I like Taylor, too.
I love Taylor.
Who can not like Taylor? Hey, George, how are you? George, the delivery guy's there. Your check is on that right there. Good to see you. Happy New Year.
Likewise.
Everything all right?
Super duper.
George is our delivery guy for our Vero's Voice magazine. I noticed they're already out all over the place. I appreciate that.
Get them out.
Yeah.
It's good issue.
You get it done, right? What kind of car is that you have?
Kia K5.
Oh, that's a Kia. Boy, they make a nice looking vehicle now.
They came out with that in 21. It replaced the Optima.
Oh, very nice.
At least it has a little more sportier look.
Yeah, it does.
Well, I mean, look
Well,
at me.
so much I was wondering, well, who's pulling up here, you know?
They get good write-ups, too.
Do they?
Yeah.
It's good on.
You've met Mr. Walsh, right?
I believe I have in the
Yeah.
past. And
He's 97, still runs his real estate firm, goes in every day, got his crisp white shirt on and his, what do you call that kind of jacket?
Camel hair.
Camel hair jacket.
Yeah.
You know, I was hopeful that you were going to get me a camel hair jacket for Christmas, George.
Well, I have one that I haven't been using, but
Yeah, I know. All right. I'll talk to you about it in 6 months.
okay. If it works, let me know.
Okay.
Take care.
See ya. So we got some nice to have nice people working with us, you know.
So how can you get artificial intelligence?
Well, you want to know how?
No, yeah.
You come to the free seminar last night
and
at 5:30 at ACT Computers over near where Kmart used to be.
Did they tell you how to get artificial insurance? And artificial intelligence?
Artificial insurance.
Okay.
That's true. That's good. Hey, we need some artificial insurance. You know, they're thieves too. I don't care what you say. They're gouging the American public. You know. Oh,
who is the insurance?
Insurance companies, and they're in the back pocket of all the politicians.
Yeah.
Evil prevails, and everybody goes. You know, you who are driving a truck and you're stealing a box of oranges from your company, that is theft. You who are running in regular politics and you're doing something evil, whatever you're doing, everybody wants to point the finger. And then we got guys up there. Hey, they got the bigger hand. Why not? I had somebody right in this back room recently, a doctor, a really good, dedicated doctor. It was either him or his friend, he said. They took him up to Washington, convincing he should take this place. He said the whole day they were showing him how he could make money off of that position in Washington.
Really?
Yeah, I'll have you meet the doctor. Trevor's dad.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. The kind of doctor that he was an intern. He is an internist, but he's shut down his practice.
How old is he?
72.
So he stopped. So you have a primary doctor, do you?
Well, he doesn't live here. He lives up in the
I
Carolinas.
said, do you have a primary
No.
doctor?
Do you?
I think I'm going to get a new one.
Well, you already fired the other one, didn't you?
Right.
I mean, did you fire her? Did you say toodaloo?
Yes.
Okay. So who are you going to go with? You don't know? Do you have any ideas?
I think his name is Geiger, like the Geiger counter.
Yeah. There's also Dr. Dean. She's very good. That's who Barbara uses.
She's holistic.
Yes, she fired me.
Well, a lot of people fired you.
I know.
Lawyer. And then, for no reason.
Nobody likes me.
No, it's not that.
Yeah.
It's your lack of staying with a prescribed program that
I
gave you.
I missed 3 appointments.
Whoa, that doesn't mean
And they didn't even warn me. They just said, nope, it's non-negotiable. You're gone.
Well,
How dare they do that to the mayor of the airwaves? If they'd stayed with me, I'd be quite thinner.
Supposing somebody had contracted to be with you 3 times, they didn't show up. What would you do?
Charge them for the appointment, I guess. I don't know. Just so you know, this is what I'm drinking. I know this guy in town. I forget his name. I think it might be Tom. I forget his name, but I ran into him and said, wow, you've lost weight. He says this has been helping him lose weight. How about you? You lost, what, 13 pounds recently?
I was 198, now I'm 170, so that's 18
No.
pounds. Yeah. Just cut down. I only had 2 meals a day instead of 3.
Do you make your meals small, too?
Not necessarily.
I'd rather have real food than this.
Well, you have real food, just have to cut back on how much you eat.
Like he and I went to a restaurant yesterday. Michael's on 5th. Man, that place is a chick magnet. All the women. How do they find it? They sniff them out. I don't know what it is about women when they find a place. They all start coming. Well, of course, and they only had 10 items on the menu. But, they have, can you believe this? This is one luncheon. Deviled eggs. Now, what did I get? I got these 3 little chicken tenders because I have work on my teeth, so I have to have something soft. You got crab meat, little tiny, what do you call those?
Sliders.
Sliders. And they were crab
cakes.
Crab cakes. Now, having been spoiled and spending a lot of time in the Northeast and Maine for the past 15 years, once you get spoiled on fresh crab out of the ocean or fresh lobster or fresh fish, once it's just like the people up at the village market. The son there, Judson, he said, if you smell fish in your fish market, leave the fish market. If they're properly handling the fish, you shouldn't do that. And fish is very volatile. Anything from the ocean is. Well, I will tell you, I tried that what you had yesterday, crab cakes. As good as I get at this exclusive hotel where I go, and they had the most delicious crab cakes. That was so good that I could consider going back today and having those crab cakes. It was so fresh. You should not smell anything. And when I get something that smells crabby, or the salmon has that fishy smell, no thanks. So the world, let's save the world now. So Nikki is lovely. She keeps requesting money from me. I'm surprised DeSantis hasn't asked me for any money. Trump people have asked me for money, and Nikki has asked me for money. Do you get those requests too?
I get them 30 or 40 a day.
Yeah, well, it's because you gave money. They know who gives them checks. Who are you writing checks for right now? Do you mind divulging it, or do you want to keep it quiet?
I'm not writing checks for anybody right now. I did write one for Kennedy, Senator Kennedy.
Oh, the one out west?
Yeah.
I'd like to meet him. He is so smart. But I feel like I'm unworthy even to walk in his shadow. If he met me, I'm going to go, first of all, let's establish something here. You're extremely gifted and smart. I'm a dum-dum comparatively. If you want to be friends with somebody who's, that's okay. I have a good sense of humor, and I'm fun to be with sometimes, right?
Absolutely.
But not the sharpest knife in the drawer as far as when it comes to guile or, the ways of the world. But that's because Jesus said the children of this age are wiser than the children of the age to come generally.
So he seems like a good old boy from the South.
He really does. I
he's
love
from
that man.
Louisiana.
Is that his state right now,
Yeah.
Louisiana?
Yeah. And he's also an Oxford graduate.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
He went to Oxford?
Yes.
Oh, that's great. So why did you send him money? He's in Louisiana. You live in Florida.
Because he solicited money, and I think he's a great asset we have.
He really is. If he sent me a request for money, I would send him money too.
Well, I'll give him your name.
Do it. He's that important.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if he was the president? Boy, he'd undress everybody.
Yeah.
That guy is smart.
Yeah, he is.
He is. Wow, what a gift. And you know what? You know what's embarrassing as you get older? He's only like a year or two older than me, I think. And he's just so, that guy is so smart.
Yeah.
But you know what's another thing? Have you noticed this as you've gotten older? Maybe you haven't. I'm an artist. So I have focused in on art. I focused in on music. I focused in on being loquacious, talkative, being a talk host. 29 years, 30 years as a talk host. But because I've focused on that, I see where I'm lacking over here. And as you get older, because we all make choices, some guys become doctors, some guys become dentists, some guys become, whatever you become, and, you can be, I know a guy that became multimillionaires, a couple of Jewish boys, and friends of mine, and they became very wealthy. You know what they do? Scrap metal. Next thing you know, she's buying a house down there on Millionaires Row on the ocean down in...
Years ago, I was with City Service Oil Company, and I called on trucking companies and commercial people that use the product. And I went to a junkyard in Jersey City, and I weaved my way through tons of junk to their headquarters, which looked like a castle in Disney. It was just like the Disney castle.
Well, you know what it is. People who are making a lot of money, they keep it quiet. So you don't know that the guy down the street that's over in his overalls and drives a little pickup truck, he's pulling in $5 million a year, buying, used metals and reselling them or whatever it is they do with them.
Well, my father, he lived in Newport, grew up in Newport, and in Newport, the local people called the billionaires rich bugs. So the rich bugs drove old cars.
My father had a client before he died, and they were worth $400 million or whatever. They were the Adams family in Pine Plains, New York. And Chuck Adams owned the new Chevrolet dealership. But I'm a little kid, so but I remember hearing these things and observing and thinking about it later in life. No one in the family, they all drove old broken down used cars. Nobody. They're worth hundreds of millions of dollars in 1960, and which is pleasing to God because God likes modesty. You ever notice God likes to hide his jewels in, like Bob Dylan said, his grandmother said, all that's gold doesn't shine. The Bible says Jesus was not handsome that we should take notice. Some guy comes to the door begging for food. Hello, Mrs. Smith. I'd like to have a sandwich. Get out of here, you fun-looking thing. You just turned down Jesus? Oh, my word. You never know.
One never knows.
One never knows. I'd like to ask heaven, have I ever met an angel and didn't know it? I want to meet an angel. I've had one in my presence, but I couldn't see him.
Why don't you ask for $1 million?
You know why?
Why?
Because Solomon didn't ask for money and he didn't ask for long life. And so he had favor with God. So because you have not asked for long life, I'm going to give you what you asked for, wisdom.
Really?
Okay, so let's say I found out right now after all these years that you have $1 billion.
That sounds good.
That sounds great to me too. And maybe you put me in the thing there, and if you croak before then I get something. But
right.
What the thing is to do is not to want money from somebody. It's to go, please just give me your advice. The advice is worth more. I can make my own living. I don't want somebody else's money. I want my own money, but I want to earn it the good old-fashioned way.
So you would turn down the money.
I didn't say I would turn down. But you know what? You know what, though? You have to be very careful because you get a big chunk of money, it can ruin you. In other words, okay, right now I win the lottery for $20 million. I have 5 books I've written that are not out. Now, of course, with that, by this time I'm hungry. So it would help me to I'd be able to hire the right people and get those books out and stuff like that. But most of the time when somebody inherits money or they win a lottery, what are you going to do? Why should I bother? I'm not going to do my radio show anymore. I'm going to go to Italy and buy my little place there in a little town where I can walk to the cafe in the morning. And there's Rhett Palmer, and he was never heard of again. And he became useless.
So
like a trust fund baby.
I worked for a fellow named Jack Penn. Jack Penn was a direct descendant of William Penn.
Really?
Yeah. And his son, Jack was a assemblyman, but more than that, he had a lot of political influence in Trenton. And so he got his son a job as tourist director for the state of New Jersey. And his son was 20s, married with two children. The son won $2 million in the lottery.
Uh-oh.
2 years later, he was dead.
Alcoholism?
Plus.
That happened right in town here. There was a guy, and people will know who it was, but he was waiting. He was going to inherit a whole lot of money at the age of 50. Lots of millions of dollars. And he was a never-do-well. He sold cars, and then he didn't sell cars, and then he did this, and never do well. At 50 years of age, he inherits all that money. He had big parties for 2 years. Finally, then he put a bullet in his head.
Really?
Yeah. Because it robs you. You got to be very careful that you're not robbed of the opportunity to build, thank God that I've had to work. When my father was killed, that company had insurance. The trucking company, it was a United States paper company. And my brother had gotten $30 million each. Potential earnings of a young lawyer, blah, 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 $20 million, whatever it is. It would have ruined me. I would have been right with the beach right here, I don't even like golf, so maybe I wouldn't, but, playing golf or tennis every day and being a never-do-well. And you know what? They know after a while that they're not really giving anything to society. It diminishes their self-dignity. It diminishes their dignity because in order to be dignified, you need to be out there doing something for somebody else. Okay, you have all these people that you handle all this real estate for, right? These wealthy guys, and they'd say, I'll buy this, but I want you to manage it, right? So don't you feel good when first of all, they need an air conditioning guy. You call the air conditioning guy, does a good job, you get him paid. Don't you feel good about that? You're bringing business to a blue-collar worker. Secondly, you've done the job for the man that owns the property. He doesn't have to worry about it. You're serving humans, and you're interacting with humans. And that's wealth. That's real wealth, not money.
That's accomplishment.
Yeah, it's accomplishment.
It's a rewarding accomplishment.
You have a saying about affluenza?
Yeah, the saying is that, let me rephrase it. Affluence kills and adversity builds.
Aha.
All right.
Hey, Siri, take a note. Affluence
Builds.
No, affluence kills,
yeah.
adversity builds.
Correct. Now, let me ask you this, Mr. Palmer. I gave you a job to do yesterday.
Pardon me?
I gave you a job to do yesterday.
Are you talking about my website again?
Theater Guild.
Oh, Theater Guild. Yeah.
So what did you do? Nothing.
I will call them when I get done my show today.
You made a note. You said, hey, Siri.
I know. I saw it on my calendar. Hey, Siri, remind me to call the Theater Guild today at 1 a.m. No.
1 a.m.?
Sorry. Hey, Siri, remind me to call the Theater Guild at 1 p.m. today, please.
1 a.m.
Do I have to say please to a...
Pardon me?
Okay. Hey, Siri, make an appointment for 1 p.m. today. Call Theater Guild.
You certainly have the command.
It's on there.
Good.
Okay.
We'll see what happens next.
So AI. Well, what I would go with you, except you might want to stick around for a few minutes. I have a famous author coming on. He's 45 years of age, 10 children. and he writes books. He's a pastor in Seattle, Washington. He's going to be zooming in and talks about marriage.
I'll tell you what they should do, get out of Seattle.
Why?
It's crime-ridden.
Yeah.
It's terrible. It's totally out of control.
Ask him that when he comes in.
No, I'm going to leave.
Not yet, you're not going to leave. You have 11 more minutes. You're not allowed to leave.
Well, it's okay. I will stick it out.
You used to be here for 2 hours. I made the mistake of starting an hour later, and now you still leave at the time you used to leave.
Because I have duties.
Look at the little Jack Russell there. Guy's walking with a Jack Russell. I like those they're the cutest little dogs.
They're very, very...
Snippy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't have one.
I was going to buy one. Chloe and I went into the dog show, Westminster Dog Show.
Did you?
And we hooked up with some people that had those kind of dogs.
Yeah.
And
how much?
Oh, I don't remember.
You know, that's big business today. People sell these thoroughbreds. They make hundreds of thousands of dollars annually.
Yeah, I know.
Would you want to put up with that?
I bought one dog on the internet, and they delivered the dog to me out in I-95. I didn't know about puppy mills at that time.
What does that mean?
It means that they breed a lot of dogs indiscriminately. They breed them over and over again and sell them. So this dog was supposed to be all white, completely white. It had,
is that Princess?
Yeah. It had 2 tan patches on her back. So I called them up and I said, no, those patches, the colors will go away. She is a thoroughbred. Well, they never went away. And
how much did you pay for her?
$1,600.
$1,600?
Yeah, because I didn't know any better.
Well, that's okay. My dog, who I fell in love with, my Maltese, I didn't get the teeth clean, so I felt bad, enough. And then he had a heart condition. They say you got to take out all the teeth. So instead of hiring a local veterinarian, I went down to the posh Palm Beach and hired this lady up here says she got caps for her dog's teeth. Caps. Anyway, they charged me. You know what they charged me to take out the dog's teeth? $4,300.
Wow, you found the people that know how to charge.
I got back here, and the veterinarian said any veterinarian in this town for $300, $400 would have taken out the teeth.
Yeah, of course.
But I didn't want anything to happen to my rocker, because people that way. I mean, it can be what do they call it? Emotional blackmail.
Yeah, no question.
Yeah.
But you love the dog, and they give you such joy. Now I have a cat. The cat's kind of interesting. The cat is curious. He knows every corner of my house. He goes into my closet and gets on the shelves in there. In the highest shelf, they likes to be high.
Boing, way up, huh?
Yeah.
Well, wouldn't you do it if you could jump like that? That's where I'd go. You'd feel secure, especially if you're a scaredy cat. Did you say it's a scaredy cat?
It is a scaredy cat.
Well, that's it. The most dangerous dog is a fearful dog.
Well, the cat is not fearful.
Well, that cat has not come out once. For me.
Well, you were there, right?
Did it come out with anybody else's there?
When Ben was there, it came out once.
What does the cat look like?
It's what they call a tuxedo cat. It's a black cat with like the markings of a tuxedo.
Really? So let's talk about, before we say goodbye today, I want to talk about the election here. What do you think about What do you think's going to happen here?
Well, I really don't know. I think Trump is the logical candidate. He has the biggest following, and they're painting him as a nut job when actually he didn't do anything that was wild. I remember this friend of mine who was a millionaire, and he was so worried that Trump was going to get his hand on the nuclear bomb thing. He had more peace than anybody. He strives for peace. He strives for bringing troops back instead of having them in a place that nobody knows even on the map. Why do we have a couple of thousand troops in Syria? I mean, what's the point?
Yeah.
And they have troops in Iraq. I mean, let them do
Well, the
what
thing
they
is, we
want
have
over
such
there.
corruption. We the normal people can't even figure it out. But what do I want to do? I want to keep that. I'm a senator. I want to keep that base there in Syria because I can fly over and then I can do my with the pretense that I'm going there to see the military base, and then I'm snagging some deals because they make figs for me. They produce figs, and I have the figs shipped to America, and I sell them to supermarkets.
Well,
There's so much, and everybody who does that sort of crap is partly to blame for the demise of America. Look what happened in Bethlehem Steel. Regular working guys, blue collar, 35 years having a bologna sandwich for lunch every day and a thermos of coffee. And what happens right before they're going to retire? Oh, we're sorry. We borrowed from the fund. There's no money. Somebody needs to go to jail for that crap. Of course, you can't do it now because all those senators and congressmen who were weasels back then are all dead. And we have new weasels in office.
that's true. That's very true. We have a problem. Houston, we have a problem. And one of the problems is Bill Gates, Tim Cook, Soros.
Gates wants to make it so. Gates has become so intelligent now that he's superior to everybody else that nobody should have land.
No private property. We will do we don't need elections. We'll handle everything for you.
Yeah, the left does not want elections. They don't care about elections.
No.
And they're stupid, the proletariat going along. Yeah, that's it. All these guys know what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing. In any country where the government runs business, including this country, it goes awry and gets all messed up. My friend had a farm in upstate New York, milk. And they came along, the U.S. government said, that's a staple. You can't charge over this per gallon because people need to be able to afford their milk. But they didn't go to the guy that sells him his wheat that the cows have to eat in order to produce the milk. And so the wheat goes up in price, but he's not allowed to compensate it by raising the price of his milk. You don't want the government. These are people that didn't have the intelligence or the ability or the gifting to be entrepreneurs. And you've got them making decisions for farmers and businessmen and stuff. Just like now, the insurance companies. My friend in town here, Dr. Solano, the cardiologist, he says, well, we're going to take you off the Toprol, and I got to put you on this other stuff. I said, why? He said, because the insurance company says you have to, because it's cheaper for the insurance company. I said, sounds like they're practicing medicine. Why are they doing this? Oh, because it's cheaper. But if it doesn't work, then you can go back to the Toprol. If it doesn't work, you mean there's the possibility, slim possibility, I could die, yes.
That is a dire possibility.
So the insurance companies, it is against the law in the United States of America to practice medicine without a medical license.
Bureaucracy is crazy. When they start to tell you what kind of light bulb you can have in your kitchen,
Oh, my
when
God.
they want to take your gas stoves away from you, it's just insanity. And you and I interviewed that fellow that was the lobbyist and he spent 2 years in jail. Remember Abramowitz, I think his name was.
Yeah.
And we said, why do they need so many lobbyists? He said, because they get into areas they have no expertise in and no business going into, and they have to get somebody to help them explain what it's all about.
I mean, these congressmen and
Yeah.
senators. Yeah. Yeah.
They don't know anything.
All right. It's time to say goodbye.
Oh, goodbye.
So it's goodbye for now. We'll see you later, folks. But coming up, just a few minutes, is Scott LaPierre. We'll go off Facebook completely and start anew. And he's a father of 10, married 45, and he's a pastor out in Seattle, Washington. A lovely human being. And we're going to talk about marriage. He has a book out on marriage. So take it away. All right.
He has a